ladies and gentlemen, by the way, you're watching House Sparks Mega Worldwide. Like, subscribe, give a thumbs up, support the show, etc., etc., etc. If you're on Instagram right now, give me a thumbs up or something. Say hi. Say hi in the comments. Say hello. Give me a hello. Like I'll even go hello back to you right now. Hello. There you go. Because a bunch of people have joined in there. Say something. I don't know. I may not be able to see it all the time, and it doesn't show up in the regular chat, but I just want you to know that I see you. There you go. Hey, JB Pollard said hi. Look at that. We're getting some activity. It's good stuff. Because I don't corral everybody into one channel. Like, please, force everybody to go to your Rumble after you've been on for an hour, so you can charge them money, TYT, or Jimmy Dore, any of these other folks, or fucking The Blaze or any of that shit. No, I don't do it. I come to you. That's right. That's why my audience is spread out. That's why the internet is full right now. And I apologize for backing it up sometimes. That's just how it works. Hello. Thank you, Connie, for the happy birthday Wednesday. Yes, my birthday is Wednesday. Me and Mark Hamill, Christopher Reeve. We miss him. And by the way, I want to thank everybody who brought me gifts at the Durham show. And I don't know how much, I never know how much to share with people, like when they give you a personal gift, whatever. But to the lady who gave me the drawing of Chud and made me cry, thank you again. And thank you for helping out Diane after the show, who needed help. So I'm just saying. Thank you. Your birthday Sunday? Excellent. My mom's birthday is also Wednesday, same day as mine. And my dad's birthday is on Friday because we're just a house full of Libras. We couldn't make up our mind to save our lives. Now, Mark Levin, this is a dent in his head. Mark Levin had a fall or something. And again, I wish no ill will or illness on people. I don't do it. Even when they're dicks like Mark Levin. And I think that might be a scab on his forehead from when he ate shit and tore his like hamstring or something. It's not good. So he's back working again. I don't know the detail. He just was gone and then he wrote something and then whatever. So Mark Levin, I would just like to say, for the record, I think you're an absolute asshole, but I hope you heal well. And I would rather argue the fact that you're an absolute asshole with you in good health. That's how I operate. That's how I live my life and how I choose to live my life. And I don't want you to be harmed or in pain or sick. I want you to be full of life and vigor when I call you an asshole. Understand? Okay, good.
Before we get to them, the campaign that Kamala Harris and her media are running is the most diabolical campaign in modern American history.
Well, that's saying a lot. Define modern. I mean, are we talking like, British invasion or new wave?
Flooding the zone with hundreds of millions of dollars in paid ads and propaganda.
Okay, first of all, make a distinction between the two of those things. I think you're just mad that she's got more money to spend than Trump because he keeps raiding the coffers of the money that people give him and spending it on himself and his own properties and his legal issues.
Very limited availability for obvious reasons.
No, not limited at all. She's stacked a bunch of things. The obvious reason why she was not available in the beginning was because she took over the campaign with 90 days to go, approximately, had to plan switch over the entire campaign, move it over, change the language and the focus of her priorities from Biden's priorities. And there's obviously some continuity there, but she definitely had to reshape some of the stuff, specify, how they wanted to approach it, create a strategy for how she was going to campaign. Initially, she was going to campaign as the VP. Now she's campaigning for president. That's an entirely different animal, and where you're going to go and what you're going to do. So they had to do all that shit in 3.5 weeks, 4 weeks, and then you could go and do interviews. And I would always say that she handled this like you should handle it, like Connie Kelly will tell you, like an airplane that has is headed towards a runway and you may or may not have enough fuel to get there. aviate, navigate, communicate. Fly the fucking plane, then make sure it's flying and you can stabilize it. Then pick where you're going, then talk to the tower. See how that works? Yeah.
You saw Kamala Harris with Oprah, some of you. I saw clips. I didn't have the stomach to watch the whole thing. She could barely...
Mark, we've seen you. You definitely have the stomach.
...really get through that.
Let's come together with the character that we are so proud of about who we are, which is we are an optimistic people. We are an optimistic people. Mm-hmm. Americans, by character, are people who have dreams and ambitions and aspirations. We believe in what is possible. We believe in what can be. And we believe in...
Yeah. Yes. Sounds diabolical to me, too. Asshole. Sorry, I'll wait till he heals up. Asshole in 2 weeks.
Fighting for that. That's how we came into being. Because the people before us understood that one of the greatest expressions for the love of our country, one of the greatest expressions of patriotism, is to fight for the ideals of who we are.
You know, she practiced and studied and got through the debate. Ladies and gentlemen, does she want to be president of the United States? Well, there are other things you're supposed to do. Now, so far, we hear things like...
All right, Mark, first of all, I don't know what was wrong with what she said. It was an extemporaneous explanation without notes of her optimism about the country, which seems boundless, and that's a good thing. Just saying. Now, I understand when someone as miserable and shitty as you are sees someone with optimism, it probably flips your anger switch. Largely because you don't have another switch. But also, I know I just automatically, you're triggered, to use a word in common parlance right now. And nothing will help you. You just, I guess, get used to disappointment is my only piece, my biggest piece of advice for Mark Levin and his fellow travelers.
She wants everyone to have an opportunity economy. What does that mean?
That means that some people who are denied that opportunity by circumstance, birth, race, sex, or whatever, have at least the ability to start out at the starting line with everybody else without being held back by something. I'll give you an example, Mark. Let's say you, after an injury, can't enter a building because there is no ramp, and the steps to that building are not to code, and therefore they are a different pace than you can walk with a cane or a walker. They're not big enough for a walker, and they're too far apart for you to stabilize yourself with a cane. So you, Mark Levin, are left out of whatever conversation is happening in that fucking building. Now, when you get in that building, don't get me wrong, Mark Levin, that when you get in that building, your input will be largely useless. But even from the mouths of assholes, occasionally there is a gem, and you say something accidentally useful, or explain, in its purest form, the shittiest ideas that you believe in. And you give us all an opportunity to sharpen our debate knives, cutting it down, right? That's got value. It really does. So, but if you can't get in the building at all, because of circumstances beyond your control, things like age, which none of us have outrun yet, but we're getting damn close. But right now, still a rough one. Then you don't have the opportunity to make your case. That's what that means. It isn't about the finish line. It's about the starting line. And you motherfuckers seem to have a problem with people getting to the starting line. Because you believe that just by being in the race, with a capital R possibly, yourselves, you've already won. And so other people, if they can get to the starting line, that's your finish line, because you're not going to accomplish anything, Mark. You're not. I mean, bless his heart. Look, I've written music that I feel will survive past my life. Already. Like, I will stand my song She Waits up against, you know, a myriad of songs. And if it hits you just right, it will do some good for somebody's heart long after I'm gone, right? So I feel like, and jokes I've told that last will carry on, silly moments that I've had that are beyond the kind of, you know, political comedy that I do that's, you know, you had to be there kind of stuff. The stuff that lasts will carry on, right? And I feel good about that. And that's what art is for. Some people write books about philosophy that can inspire as well, right? But Mark's stuff is political toilet paper, and he knows it. Mark knows that his books and his attitudes about these things are based on temporary anger, and it has no fucking legs at all. And so, and that's, the only reason he's able to fucking put books out in the first place is because he got a head start over other people. And without that head start, somebody else might take up that space at the printing press, take up that space at the in any number of outlets, whether it's a cable news or a publisher, that he is taking up right now without earning it. Sorry, somebody was just like, oh, thank you, Sarah. Appreciate it. I love your political brain too.
She says she believes in democracy. Stalin said he believed in democracy. So
fuck you, dude. This is the whole, we're not a democracy. We're a democracy. Fuck you. Fuck Glenn Beck. Fuck Mark Levin and his busted ass. We're a democracy. You know how we are? We're a constitutional republic that chooses our leaders via democratic means. You know what that means? That means we're a democracy, asshole. That's what it means. We're a democracy. This is democracy. And we want people to be able to choose their leaders. Do you think, by the way, do you think Stalin really meant it? How fucking gullible does this asshole have to be? Right? Good Lord. Oh, and Conhale got in. I know it's packed outside in the internet. I'm worried about asking you guys to share the show out and give a thumbs up and all that kind of stuff, or even write in the chat. Just say hi if you don't normally jump into the chat. Just put a hi in there for somebody. I'm worried that we'll get full. You know, that the internet will get full. I'm worried that Amazon's going to call me and they go, you're killing our cloud computing server because everybody's using it to stand around and watch your show. And I'm going to go, tough shit, Bezos. Give my girlfriend a ride to space and back, or I don't even want to hear from you. Click.
what does she mean? The future.
By the way, she means that we pick our own leaders, and we should. And the Electoral College is fucked up as it is, and all that these guys would rather have as the way we choose our leaders is not how we do it and not how we're going to do it. And as we become more powerful as individuals in this country, it becomes even more important that we are our democratic leanings that started out with not everybody being able to vote, going to everybody being able to vote that is a citizen of this country.
She believes in the future.
Well, technically speaking, I think she believes the children are our future. And so, Mark, I would recommend that you treat them well and let them lead the way.
Well, the future is 1 second from now. Don't we all believe in the future?
I don't have to believe in 1 second from now. It will happen regardless. No, that's not the future she's talking about. She's talking about the future for our grandchildren and their grandchildren. That's when most people in the vernacular talk about the future, we don't mean the immediate future between now, the future. What do you mean? Friday. Shut the fuck up.
So what does that mean?
I don't know what you mean. What do you mean? But don't question what she means. I haven't figured out what the fuck you're talking about. God damn it. I was trying to be nice to him because he's injured. You're an asshole. What are you talking about?
She wants us to turn the page. Turn the page on what?
on racism, bigotry, sexism, homophobia, transphobia, diminishing human beings because of their innate characteristics, and moving on to a point where people can deliver the greatness that's inside them, regardless of those things that you might have a problem with for a religious reason or some shit. What the fuck are you talking about? Like, again, I started out, I think I was doing very nice. Chat room, was I... Did you get the feeling that I was sincere when we started this? Because I was. I was sincere when I said I did not want to, that I consider him an asshole, but I want him to be healthy so that when I call him an asshole, he hears it and it doesn't, trigger his sciatica or something. That is still true. Yes? No more hate, you big dummy, right? Yeah, because I meant it. I just want to be clear that I meant it. Because he's being such a dick and so dismissive that I feel that onion is peeling away, and I may speak or behave in a way that you may forget the premise that I started this okay. Jesus Christ. Here we go. Like, already, we're 2 minutes into this shit.
I'm going to turn the page. It's on her. But turn the page. New generation of leadership. What does that mean?
Okay, now he's just fucking with us. So it's Mark, are you just wrestling with words now?
We don't pick leaders by age. We pick leaders by substance.
Oh, eaters. Look, Freudian slip.
So this entire campaign, that is Kamala Harris's campaign, is a fraud. It's a phony. It's a fake with her help in the media. You have vague phrasing, talking about...
Vague phrasing. Vague, I think, is what he meant to say. But also, can I just say, what is Make America Great Again? What is that? Let's make America healthy again. Let's make America strong again. Why don't you just... or is it just that he's taking the Make America Great Again thing that he stole from Reagan and just inserting other fucking words into it? Could be that.
About something without actually directly saying anything.
Oh, you mean like Trump's entire speeches about how no one's ever seen anything like this, and this is like no one's ever seen before? That kind of shit?
In order to hide your real beliefs, thoughts, values, and potential actions. You don't want to be pinned down. You don't want to be defined. So you're an empty pantsuit.
So you're an empty pantsuit. Now, anybody who wears a suit with pants, who's a man, I presume, is just wearing a suit. But when a woman wears a suit, it's a pantsuit. Because Mark Levin is a gross old fart. Now, this is a great example, though, and I appreciate it. I appreciate it, Mark Levin, you prick, that you're showing us exactly what we need to turn the page on. Get it? Just you and this, like, you think it's castigating her to say pantsuit. You think that's a slam. It ain't. Right? It's a suit. Whether a man wears it or a woman wears a suit. You can say pantsuit, but when he says it, what he means is a woman in a suit. He means Hillary Clinton. He means women don't deserve to be in a position of power. That's where he's leaning. So if you're talking about what are we going to turn the page on, that. Thank you for giving us an example of how you're so fucking unaware, right? That how naturally this shitty attitude and this bigotry comes to you. That is indeed what we need to turn the page on. That is what a new generation of leadership will bring. And that is why I'm going to be the 56th president of the United States. But that's for another day.
So people can pour whatever they want to into you and to vote for you based on what they project upon you.
Also, that's a big fucking egg on his head. That is, I know he had a fall, but I'm beginning to think someone had just hit him with a fucking mallet. Yipe. I have to say, I'm not squeamish at all. I can watch surgery or a fucking autopsy or nothing bothers me. Only thing that gives me the willies, old man with a Band-Aid on his head. Because it only happened one of two ways. Either Grandpa or Grandpa, right?
Political manipulation is what this used to be called. It's done in totalitarian regimes, various autocratic regimes.
The Bush and Reagan presidencies, the Trump campaign. What are you talking? You mean like ads and people speaking in general phrases about their beliefs and their ethics before getting to the specifics of policy?
That's how it works. She's not going to lay out her agenda, even though many of us know what the agenda already is.
Well, then I guess she doesn't have to lay it out. Tell us what it is, dummy. Well, it's something about Stalin, I guess.
And part of this element of propaganda requires deception, hiding the truth, deception, causing someone to accept as true or valid what is false and invalid. You could see.
I see. You're one of these assholes who reads the definition of deception, and then that's your evidence that someone is being deceptive. Cool.
Through that debate with Donald Trump, she just kept lying about his position on abortion.
Donald Trump hand-selected 3 members of the United States Supreme Court with the intention that they would undo the protections of Roe v. Wade.
Yeah, of course he did. He wants credit for it. He just said, "Give me credit for terminating Roe." What do you think that credit comes from? Do you think after they were in there, like, no, we really came in here to just call balls and strikes. We really didn't want to do this. He's like, you guys better get rid of Roe, or boy. Fuck you, Mark Levin.
Over 20 states, there are Trump abortion bans. If Donald Trump were to be reelected, he will sign a national abortion ban. Understand, in his Project 2025, there would be a national abortion, a monitor that would be monitoring your pregnancies, your miscarriages.
Lying about Charlottesville.
Let's remember.
Well, hold on, dummy. You can't just play a montage of what she said and then just go, all these are lies. Prove her wrong, dumb fuck. You can't just say it like... I got news for you, Mark Levin. You're a grown man. Nuh-uh ain't a fucking answer. In Project 2025, it does say that. And Trump will not say he wouldn't sign it. He just said that probably won't. The bill to reestablish Roe isn't going to come to her desk, is what he said. Not the bill to ban abortion won't come to my desk. And you bet your fucking ass if it came to his desk, he would sign it. Of course he would. Yes, exactly. Project 2025 is Agenda 47. Just Agenda 47 is the Project 2025 for idiots.
Charlottesville, where there was a mob of people carrying tiki torches.
True.
Spewing anti-Semitic hate.
True.
And what did the president then at the time say? There were fine people on each side.
I think he said very fine.
Let's remember that when it came to the Proud Boys, a militia, the former president said, stand back and stand by. So
I love how he's shaking his head. That's exactly what you fucking said. And everybody was saying, tell them to stand down. And you couldn't even say stand down. Now, there's only one way that he said stand back and stand by on accident. It's because his brain is so fucking diminished, he couldn't remember the phrase they just said to him, stand down. He couldn't remember those words. They don't make any sense to him, so he couldn't process them into the statement he was making. So he said stand back and stand by instead of stand down because he's stupid. Or he said stand back and stand by because he fucking meant it.
Everyone watching who remembers what January 6th was, I say we don't have to go back.
Lying about the 2025 project.
What you're going to...
Okay, it's Project 2025, and no, she wasn't. And also, again, just calling it lies because you're showing what she said, and this assumption that she's lying based on, I guess, your assertion. You gotta do better than that, dum-dum.
Here tonight is a detailed.
By the way, for the record, I've covered all these before, but I don't want to be accused of the exact same thing. So I'd like to say specifically, Donald Trump says, if you listen for one more sentence, it was a perfect statement about Charlottesville, for example. That he said there were very fine people on both sides. There were some very, like people who were just there to protest the taking down of a statue and the renaming of a park. Well, that statue was of Robert E. Lee, and that park was named after him. And they were renaming it because he was a Confederate general, a traitor to this country, and a man who sought to take down the Constitution of the United States. That's why. And so a bunch of people going, it's our heritage. Well, fine. Fucking visit that statue in a building. It can be in a museum. But the idea that you get to have chess pieces on the chessboard after you fucking lost? No.
And dangerous plan called Project 2025 that the former president...
I love this. She says, dangerous plan called Project 2025. He fucking nods. Look at that real quick. Watch this.
Lying about the 2025 project.
What you're going to hear tonight is a detailed and dangerous plan called Project 2025 that the former president...
It's like, yeah, you are. Basically, whatever I say is, it's a detailed and dangerous plan. It is called Project 2025. Yup.
President intends on implementing if he were elected again.
Federalists counted 25 lies. A gave up after 20. Breitbart came up with...
Wait, the Federalists did? The Federalists are the people who drafted Project 2025, you dumb motherfucker. They're the people who gave him the list of judges to choose from, specifically because they would get rid of Roe v. Wade. Fuck the Heritage Foundation and the Federalist Society. Fuck those guys.
With 21 lies. She just lied and lied and lied and lied. And this is intended to create a projection, a non-reality.
Really? Yeah. So him saying she's a Marxist and her father's a Marxist because he was an economist who wrote papers on economic theory of every kind. What's that supposed to do, Mark Levin? What?
And that's what she does. It's deception to cause somebody to believe something that's not true. And they do this.
And that's MAGA's job. You can't steal Donald Trump's. That's like when she took no tax on tips, and now she's taking his whole lie about everything you're going to do and pretend it's your plan.
In order to protect their agenda, to protect their campaign, and to promote themselves.
Okay. Listen, asshole. Isn't that what a campaign is? Obviously, it's not what Trump's doing. He's just golfing and using campaign funds to pay for his properties and set up deals to, like, schlock his fucking followers out of every penny they have for shoes and silver coins and NFTs and all kinds of bullshit. But a normal campaign that actually functions, like, that's what you're supposed to do. Protect your campaign, focus your candidate and your message, put out your papers. Like, get the fuck out of here.
At the harm of others. That is, at the harm of Donald Trump.
Hold on. Wait a minute. So your complaint is that she's running her campaign in a way that helps her and her message and hurts Donald Trump. Sorry, again, this goes to that whole, like, you think the getting everybody to the starting line is cheating because you think the starting line is the finish line because you don't fucking want to do anything any more than Trump does. Asshole, that's what she's supposed to fucking do. She's supposed to kick his ass in the campaign. She's supposed to bring her A game. She's supposed to focus, know what her message is, stay on message, create ads, create, like, connection moments. Let the voters know who she is. It's not her fault that Donald Trump is fucking golfing his way through this bullshit and sucking up to crypto bros in a bar he wouldn't set foot in under normal circumstances.
She put words in his mouth. She's still doing it. She's still lying about it.
Nope. Which ones? Which ones? The very fine people? The stand back and stand by? Which ones?
In purposes to get an advantage, in this case, an electoral advantage. We call
it's called a campaign.
this propaganda.
Oh, fuck you. Edward Bernays. Don't get saucy with me, Bernays.
Propaganda has been used for God knows how long, but it became almost scientific about.
Oh, you mean like make America great again? And the assumptions in that phrase and the bullshit idea that somehow, there was a greatness that was, there was a point in our past where we could have stopped growing and it would have been just right, but we had to keep moving past that and we need to go back to that spot. So you create a phrase called make America great again. Even though you know it's fucking bullshit, even though making America great is a constant process, like, perfection is a road, not a destination.
About 100 years ago in a book called Propaganda by a man by the name of Bernays. And
right. Yes. Trump said originally, like, it was one of his favorite books. He's never fucking read it. But, I mean, the same thing is true of the Hitler speeches. I think he just kept that on his nightstand to scare people.
Bernays was widely read by early Democrat progressives in the
No, it wasn't. It was an advertising book.
1900s. He was widely read by dictators and genocidal maniacs. In fact, he was widely read by Adolf Hitler. Not.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And again, the sauce, the sauce.
That this is Hitler. You get the point. Propaganda.
Yeah, I get the point. The woman of color who's running to be the president of the most pluralistic society on the planet equals Hitler. Sure, great. Yeah, cool. Because she talks about how Americans believe in opportunity and are optimistic. And Donald Trump uses "Make America Great Again" and the phrase like no one's ever seen before over and over again, and says think of it all the time because he's acting like a shit hypnotist.
Repetition. Changing the language. The key to propaganda.
Is careful, because you're going to get into, like, you're about to define yes, right, with a Jewish husband. I'm sorry I left that one off. You're about to define the entire Trump campaign.
Involves the media. Pseudo events. Pseudo events. That is,
Events that weren't really events, but they're sort of events. Like what?
non-news stories that are created as news stories.
Oh, I see. J.D. Vance, while not being a couch fucker, being an embarrassment to everyone around him and basically a perpetual cringe machine anytime he steps into a grocery store or a donut shop. You mean like that?
Treated as news stories and have a 2, 3, 4 day shelf life as a news story, while real news stories are ignored, while real facts.
Jesus Christ. Trump is lucky that's how the news cycle works.
While real issues that affect the common person, they're dismissed. You can see this now. Pseudo events, pseudo news. So what?
No, give me an example, fuckwad. You don't get to just lay that out there. What do you mean? Because I guarantee whatever you're going to express, I got 10 versions of fucking something. Like, here's a good one. Fucking, they're eating the dogs. They're eating the pets of the people who live there. They're eating the cats and the geese, right? That would be a good example of a pseudo fucking event. That, by the way, in a legit situation, got people's lives threatened. Not just fucking Haitian immigrants, but the people in that fucking city. There were hospitals and schools that got bomb threats.
What does this mean? What this means is that the campaign is spending money, and the campaign is using Kamala Harris to push falsities.
Okay, first of all, falsities? Falsities. The campaign is using Kamala Harris to push falsities. Well, I say first out of the gate, I'm pretty sure they're real. Secondly, if they aren't, it's none of your goddamn business. Thirdly, her campaign is using her. Fuck are you talking about?
Nonsense. Shiny objects.
What do you mean? You got to give me look. I get you can't just fire off a bunch of synonyms, you fucking dirtbag.
To chase. The things that affect your lives they don't want to talk about. Food, security, crime, the border.
They talked about all those things. She will sign the border bill if it crosses her desk. They want to do $25,000 to help first-time home buyers, and they want to increase the supply of homes in the country by 3 million through a myriad of different programs by the end of her first term. Well, I know this. You know this. I know you know this.
Gasoline prices, what your children are taught in school, those are non-issues.
Of course they're working on bringing down gas prices. They have. How are they non-issues? When she brings it up, it goes for rim job. They both candidates are bringing it up all the time. Just Trump has got this like, I'm gonna magically do it. That's his plan.
Now, to you, they're everyday issues. But to the manipulators, to these masterminds, these are non-issues. They decide what the issues are. So we call these hoaxes.
What? Wait a minute. Sorry. Gas prices are hoaxes? What the fuck are you talking about?
Remember Trump talking about the Russian hoax?
Yeah, he's full of shit. It wasn't a hoax at all. Like 8 people from his fucking campaign went to jail. He had to pardon 3 of them.
We call these illusions. These are hoaxes. These are illusions.
All right, why use both words? Make a distinction. I'm getting annoyed now. Look, I understand he fell and hit his head. But this is pretty much what he talks like all the time. I don't know if there's some sort of lasting impact on his brain.
Aimed at avoiding the real problems because they have ideas, they have belief systems, but they know you will reject them.
Sorry, Trump, blame the Jews if I lose, Drudge Report. Yeah, not good. Also, the hand signal right there, I'm going to guess that Drudge picked that for a reason.
Perfect example. See that? That's the front page of the Drudge Report.
Yes, noted left-wing pro-Stalin zine.
The web page of the Drudge Report. It's been hanging up there last week for a few days. It's caught everybody's attention. It's become a big issue. And so there you have Donald Trump, where they hope, the illusion they hope, they're projecting Donald Trump with a Hitler salute.
Who's they, motherfucker? It's the Drudge Report. MSNBC didn't do that. What the fuck's wrong with you? Wait a minute. You don't actually think the 2 guys that shot at him are Democrats, do you?
Wearing his red hat, Trump, blame the Jews if I lose.
Yeah, he actually said that, Mark. He said, you're a Jew. He said that.
And this is based in part on this group Mediaite.
No, it isn't. It's based largely on what he fucking said.
That took a piece of the clip of the president's speech to a large group of Jewish supporters in Washington, D.C., where I had family members attending. I could not attend, but I had family members attending. It was a
great. So I'm sure they gave you an honest review of what happened.
Fantastic speech. It was a temperate speech. It was a factual speech.
He looked like a televangelist Macy's balloon that had been popped.
It was an exciting speech.
Okay, so sorry, I forgot. Yeah, you weren't there.
And the people left there, the vast majority of whom were Jews, very excited and very happy to have met.
The vast majority?
Met the president and hear what he said. But this is what they turned it into.
Who's they, motherfucker? That's the Drudge Report. This isn't CNN, you fuckwad. Like, what's wrong with you?
Adolf Hitler. Blame the Jews if I lose. What Trump was saying was...
Shape this for us. I'm very excited. This I look for. Now, by the way, I just want to clarify. When Trump said, blame the Jews if I lose, the idea that if Jews don't vote for him, which they normally don't vote for Republicans anyways in mass, you know, and there aren't enough of them, especially of voting age in the country, to shift the election in, you know, in any meaningful way in, say, swing states, for example. They're not the Jews aren't the swing in fucking Wisconsin. They're not the swing in Michigan, and they won't be the swing in fucking Arizona either. They, you know, there are a few areas where there are large groups of them, and then there are just Jews throughout the country who live where they're going to live, but they don't vote as part of a block because, well, I'm a Jew, I'm going to do this. Like they don't tend to do that anyways, much less if they live in Tennessee or some shit, right? What Trump meant was, and what he clearly was saying was that the Jews control the elections, and the Jews are letting these brown people in, and those people are, you know, like, if I lose, it's going to be the Jews' fault because they're the ones orchestrating the great replacement theory, which is where the whole fucking Charlottesville thing came from. That's why they were chanting, Jews will not replace us. With what? With Mexicans and South Americans and black people from the rest of the world that will take your jobs. That's what they meant. That's what they're talking about.
I'm trying to do the very best I can to appeal to the Jewish community for its votes.
Yeah, that's pretty much how I heard it. Yeah, that's exactly. It was, you know what? It was almost, I think it was sweeter than that.
And he was saying also that here's my record as applies to the Jewish community. Just as Kamala Harris goes in front of the Islamist community, talks about her record, or goes in front of other communities and talks about her record,
or goes and talks to her husband who's Jewish. I'm sure he's aware of her record, though, you know, now that I think of it.
Donald Trump has a record he is proud of and he should be proud of.
Oh, you mean the things he did without really thinking them through, like the Golan Heights and moving the embassy and declaring Jerusalem the capital, which triggered the Yahweh Sinwar October 7th plan specifically. And killing the Iran deal so that they would have even more reason to go, well, fuck it, the end times are coming. Yeah, all that together. It's almost like when he got rid of the COPS program that Obama and Biden had put in that would help local police officers, police stations and state police broom out bad cops in spite of pushback from, say, the unions or whatever. And the COPS program helped that happen. And Trump killed it. And then Minneapolis couldn't get rid of somebody like Derek Chauvin. They could have before that, but he killed the program, so they couldn't do it. And then he also killed the pandemic response team in the same week he did the COPS program. And then what do you know, 2 years later, what the fuck? Yeah. Please stop accepting Sinwar's fucking excuses. He planned it. That's not his excuse. That was his reasoning. It played a part of it. Sorry. He may have done it eventually, but that's what triggered it now. It wasn't because Biden came in and changed policy.
When it comes to the state of Israel and Jews, as well as a record in so many other areas that he's proud of.
Yeah. I mean, he's been great for Jews, even when he's not doing anything that has anything to do with Jews. So they should just be happy. This is the same thing like women. Look, you may have lost the right to choose, but, you know, gas was cheaper when we were all staying home during COVID. So I don't know what you bitches are whining about. Seems to be the thought.
Proud of, and he should be proud of. Mm-hmm. And he's talking about the substance. He's talking about his record. And he says, in so many words, I saw a poll that I got 29% of the Jewish vote in 2020, 26% in 2016, that I have about 40% of the support in the Jewish community.
It's gone down, you mean?
I better get 60% of the vote, or I may not be able to win in these, in some of these blue states. And,
you're not going to win in any of these blue states, you dumb motherfucker. That's the point. No, he's not making the case like I'm going to be if I got 60% of the Jewish vote instead of 40%, I would win New York. Okay, there's not enough Jews in New York for that. There's not enough Jews in, I don't know, like Los Angeles, San Francisco, whatever fucking blue state he thinks he's going to scoop up. He's not. There just aren't enough of them. What he means is the Jews run this shit, and they're the ones doing the great replacement theory. And if they don't get on my side and start helping me win, I'm going to lose. That's what he fucking means. It's not even about the Jewish vote, you cretin.
I could blame you folks for that. It was tongue-in-cheek.
Yeah. And I'm sure, Mark, what you wanted to do after you were recovering from your injury and the abuse you got from your live-in maid, I'm sure what you wanted to do was sweep up yet another bigoted statement from Donald Trump. Walk behind him with a shovel like he's a fucking elephant in a parade, just scooping up every piece of dung he leaves and going with a big fucking smile on your face.
It was tongue-in-cheek.
Mm-hmm. He was being sarcastic. He was being silly, guys. Even though you can hear him and you can listen to him and you go, oh, he fucking means it. Nah, he didn't mean it. You got to have somebody like Mark translate it for you.
Everybody there knew it.
Everybody there knew it. Mm-hmm. So you mean the Jews that were there, or the majority of the Jews that were there, or the slim majority of non-Jews that were there, or...
And so they do...
They, fuck you, they. It's not they. That's the Drudge Report, you dumb motherfucker. How is, again, what the fuck? With the they. I'm done with the fucking they, all right? With the fucking they. Everybody's fucking, I'm so glad you guys have started to embrace they, them pronouns up in here, you fucking moron. But they. Drudge did that. It's not everywhere. Nobody, this wasn't like, oh my God, every channel you turn on, they show him at that thing where he's saying, if I lose, the Jews are going to lose. And then he's doing this fucking Laura Ingraham, and fuck, everybody put it together and they all seem to be, what fucking they? And literally, that's the only place I've seen that. Eesh.
Do this. Like they did with Charlottesville.
I'm sorry. They like they did with motherfucker. All right, hold on one second. Normally, here you go, Mark. This is for you, buddy. This is for you. It's from Brandeis University. The long, ugly, anti-Semitic history of Jews will not replace us. At the Unite the Right rally in Charlottesville, the crowd of very fine people chanted, "Jews will not replace us." They chanted at the Unite the Right rally organized by armed white nationalists in Charlottesville to stop the removal of a statue dedicated to Robert E. Lee. Heather Heyer, a 30-year-old paralegal from Charlottesville, was killed and 35 others were wounded when a 20-year-old neo-Nazi named James Alex Fields intentionally drove his car into a crowd of counter-protesters during the rally. Lead plaintiff Elizabeth Sines, a law student at the University of Virginia at the time of the rally, believes the lawsuit carries an important message. In an interview, she said, if you plan and execute violence towards Jewish people, the people of color, diverse communities like Charlottesville, you will be held responsible for your action. At first glance, it might not be clear what the demonstrators meant in chanting, Jews will not replace us. Only about 2,000 Jews live in Charlottesville out of a total... a local total of 47,000. Nationally, Jews number no more than 7.6 million, meaning that just over 2% of Americans are Jewish. Indeed, recent studies suggest that America's Jewish birth rate has fallen, and Jews are barely replacing themselves, let alone the white population as a whole. Scholar of Jewish history Deborah Lipstadt, MA 72, PhD 76, age 19, has been nominated by President Joe Biden to serve as a special envoy to monitor and combat anti-Semitism, argued in an expert report presented to the court concerning the history, ideology, symbolism, and rhetoric of anti-Semitism, subsequently summarized in her personal testimony that the Charlottesville chant carried several meaning. It is simplest and most straightforward interpretation that that chant can be understood to say Jews will not replace us, i.e. white Christians in our job, our dominant place in society. We as whites will remain the dominant supreme force in society. Also, a subtler but deeper ideological meaning to this chant, rooted in the fear referred to by white nationalists of the Great Replacement or white genocide. The Charlottesville chant is expressing centuries-old fears that Jews, in league with peoples of color, are engaged in a nefarious plot to destroy white Christian civilization. That's what they're talking about, fucking Mark Levin, you prick. And so when he said there's very fine people on both sides, and in that crowd there were very fine people, he's speaking of those folks. He wasn't speaking of some lady fanning herself who was a daughter of the American Revolution and, and believed she was, Confederacy is history and any of that shit. Again, if you like Robert E. Lee, you can go see his shit in a museum. But he doesn't he doesn't deserve a spot in the public square. Fuck that guy. Yeah, say they again. Right, hold on one second. Everybody seems to be calling me out, Mark. Mark, they're asking about me. They're saying, hey, say they again, motherfucker. Say they again, okay? Say they again.
Like they do with everything else that comes.
Oh, like they do with everything else. Hey, it might not be a good idea to speak in absolutes, perhaps. But you gotta keep saying they, don't you? Gotta keep saying they.
Comes out of Donald Trump's mouth, and I want to remind you that again, I guess it was a.
Sorry, they? What? What? Who? Hold on, motherfucker.
Everybody there knew it. And so they do this.
They do this? I'm sorry, I did not read that anywhere that Matt Drudge's pronouns are they, them. I'm Salty Cupcake, and this is no cupcake interview.
Like they did with Charlottesville.
Like they did with Charlottesville. They did it.
Like they do with everything else that.
Like they. Say they again, motherfucker. Say they again.
Comes out of Donald Trump's mouth. And I want to remind you that again, I guess it was a week from tomorrow, Donald Trump faced another assassination attempt. That's 2. Because of stuff like this.
No, not anything to do with that at all. As a matter of fact, this dude seemed to have made up his mind after Trump got out of the Iran deal after voting for him. And again, one guy does not equal a they. Fuck, the 2 shooters never met. They don't even constitute a they, you dumb motherfucker.
Because when you dehumanize Donald Trump,
he dehumanizes you back, or it's in response to him dehumanizing other people. And also, you don't really think that when we call you an asshole, we think you are a functional sphincter, right? It's a pejorative insult, you dumb motherfucker.
you create a hero mentality among sick people. That maybe they ought to do something about it.
Yeah, they. Yeah, they, them, they do it. They ought to do something about it. He or they, sure.
Less than a week after they stopped the second assassination attempt. This is the Drudge Report based on Mediaite. And now we have Jewish organizations. Check that.
Yeah, obviously not real Jewish organizations, but the they version.
Liberal Democrat Jewish organizations.
Right, yeah. So a subset of a subset of a subset of them.
Condemning what Donald Trump said.
So the rest of the Jews just thought it was funny?
Condemning Donald Trump. Saying he sounds like Hitler.
No, he doesn't sound like Hitler. He sounds like a bigot. Dude, he can barely speak English. He certainly can't speak German.
Like it's the Third Reich all over again.
No. If it was the Third Reich all over again, they'd be better organized. Thank God they're not.
That's the problem we have in this country today.
Is it?
These are not real issues.
No, they're not. Him saying if he loses, the Jews will be to blame. That's not a real thing. And the media keeps creating these things. They, them, they do. They do. Every time they turn their head, they're always they, right, Mark? Right, Mark? They got to keep doing it. Why won't they stop? Look, just because he says it doesn't mean they have to report it. Why do they always listen to what he says and then they seem to feel the need to tell the American people, expecting them and they to process what he said and think about what they should do in terms of the election? Sounds like propaganda to me.
These are phony issues, even more than phony issues. They attempt to dehumanize one of the candidates, Donald Trump. Only one, Donald Trump.
Well, in all fairness, Kamala Harris hasn't said anything about Jews as a block in the pejorative. She hasn't blamed a single group if she loses ahead of time. Not at any point. Now, I'm sure if she did, the news would report on it 5 times as much as they did with Trump. Just say it.
And Kamala Harris, the media, and the Democrat Party are counting on all this. They're counting on it.
Yes, they are counting on Donald Trump to keep saying stupid shit that they can use against him. And if he would just stop saying stupid shit, he might do himself some good. But he can't stop saying stupid shit. Is that what you're saying? That's not what you're saying.
So she can squeeze her way into the Oval Office.
Oh,
one day the people.
Hold on, I got to say for the record, she can walk right in. She's petite, and the door will fit her just fine. Donald Trump there's argument that he had to squeeze himself in the last time he was there, and it's not getting any better.
People who fall for this, these lies.
You mean Republicans? Because that's who reads Drudge.
And unfortunately, people have fallen for stuff like this for hundreds of years, thousands of years.
Yes, that's true. People have been telling stories about Donald Trump for thousands of years. First they called him the fallen angel, and then they called him Lucifer, and then Beelzebub, and then they've just maligning him this whole time. And then I don't know if you saw The Exorcist was the first anti-Trump propaganda I remember seeing. All he wanted to do was be inside a little girl.
They'll wake up and say, "Oh my God, what did we do?"
They'll wake up and say, "Oh my God, what do we do?"
We elect somebody president of the United States who's wholly unqualified.
Oh, you mean like 2016?
Who didn't reveal herself, who turns out to be a Marxist Islamist.
A Marxist Islamist. You know those don't work together. I mean, there's some people who wish they did, but mm-mm.
Who failed as vice president. Oh my God, what did we do?
Well, obviously if she failed it as vice president, again, this kind of goes to the whole Biden is totally corrupt and incompetent. So incompetent that he's actually a good businessman and good for the country. He tries to destroy the country, but he's so bad at it, he just keeps helping.
And you can thank the Drudge Report.
Okay. Thanks, Drudge Report.
Media, elements of the media. These
elements of the media? You don't mean Greg Kelly, do you?
left-wing groups.
Oh, yeah. The left-wing group. Yeah.
Left-wing ethnic groups. But most of all,
Whoa. The what?
Who failed as vice president. Oh my God, what did we do?
Uh-huh.
And you can thank the Drudge Report, media, elements of the media, these left-wing groups, left-wing ethnic groups.
Left-wing ethnic groups. I gotta tell you, buddy, your side seems hell-bent on blaming all problems in the world, even the ones they created, on quote-unquote left-wing ethnic groups. Now, I presume you mean Jews and just didn't want to say it again.
But most of all, you can thank the Democrat Party and their ideologues. Because
Thank you, Democrat Party and your ideologues. Good work. You're really stressing Mark Levin out and Trump. Awesome.
these are the campaigns they now run, filled with lies and deception.
Oh, it's terrible. Lies and deception. And that's your fucking job.
And illusions.
Illusions.
Before we get to them.
Oh, God. Okay. Can I just say for the record, shit.
So I guess now we'll have 5 days.
First, no, you won't. Shut the fuck up. This is, that was the end of the, Kamala Harris's campaign is the most diabolical campaign in modern American history. No, but besides that, boring, also insane, and pretty much standard fare.